here they are. Nice fist bump. And I mean, the Orcus deck has a lot of one-card combos, so let's see what Benjamin decides to go for. And well, that's a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a pretty good start. Of course, this is not the Orcus cards, but starting off with the Joku and the Izuna allows you to just get access to the Lupus in the graveyard, but also the access to the Xyz plays. So that's a pretty good one. I mean, we don't see Orcus yet, but we're pretty happy with this one. And speaking about the matchup between Orcus K9 and the Gemini Shadow, I mean, it's going to be very interesting because on the one hand, we have a very, very good going second deck, but on the other hand, the Orcus strategy, I mean, it puts a very strong field, so it's going to be very interesting to see whether the Geminites can just break the field or just can't do anything.
Yep. It's definitely gonna be rough, I gotta say, because as compared to other decks, the Orcus can set up also the Crescendo, which is a counter trap that pretty much negates anything, and then that makes it, you know, rough because it can negate a lot of the typical Field Breakers cards. But here we just opening this K9. Usually, again, the bridge, we have seen it a couple of times in the past. What it can be between these two decks in the Crystron deck. Is it gonna be the same is my question. Do we have the Scrap Recycler in deck or not really?
Yeah.
Okay, it is
There's
there.
one.
So most likely this is something that we could expect if we don't have access to Orcus cards yet. And yeah, for now just again continuing this K9 chain, setting up an Izuna for next turn. Why not?
I mean, he's probably not going to get interrupted because the Gemini strategy, you like to have some field breakers, so you don't like to interact on the opponent's turn, unless you have some mulch armies, of course. But it doesn't seem to be the case here, so it's going to be full engine, full field breaker, and he's gonna have to, I mean, to give a lot of energy in that.
What a hand this is, honestly, because like paired up with the K9s, the Orcus strategy is so much strong, and we saw them in action yesterday, and honestly, the Dingirzu, once it brings up on the field as an XYZ summon, it's so much powerful that gives you such a boost in your strategy. And I really like it because especially we were talking about it yesterday, how synergetic our duelists have been this weekend, pairing with multiple strategies essentially in their deck, no? And I really feel like Orcus is one of the most versatile one this weekend, and yeah, I think it can be splash also in the Mitsurugi. We saw them in action as well, and look at this, like without any interruption, this is quite scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Dingirsu will have a lot of value because, of course, there's going to be a lot of cards that want to destroy your field. And if you get the Dingirsu, you're going to have the protection effects. So, yeah, I'm really eager to see if it's going to be a thing or not. But it's definitely going to be a key card.
I mean, this Galatea Eye is the card that really opened up this engine. Having access to this Link 1 is just insane because all of these normal summons, you know, you can just turn into it and get things going. And I mean, we all know how long, you know, Arpor has been forbidden. And, you know, during that time, a lot of players were asking for it to be back. And already, right after, it won the NAWCQ this year, you know, just a couple months back. So we'll see whether it keeps on having some success. And you can tell why. I mean, with pretty much one card, you can set up a pretty threatening field. It's not gonna win you the game alone, but like when you support it again with like K9s or just another engine, it does so much because at least you know, 3 interruptions you can do, and it's also one of those decks where you have more resources. So you interrupt, but then you refill your graveyard, and so it's not like they can ignore it because next turn everything is gonna come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking about the choice of deck, I think this is very interesting to choose and to pick Orcus for this tournament because you play a lot of Link monsters and therefore you're not affected by the Dimension Barrier, which is a key card of the tournament in my opinion. I mean, a lot of players are going to have that in the side deck for the going first strategy. And you know, when you're playing some decks like Draco Tail, Yummy, you are, I mean, it's very hard to play against this card. So picking a deck that is not affected by that is very, very clever in my opinion.
I also feel like that the Orco strategy was missing the link one, which is now there, the Galatea Eye. And I mean, look at this, like with the Dingirsu being summoned onto the field. Of course, this is very, very powerful, especially because I can see that Benjamin is also holding the Orcus Crescendo in hand. So another form of interruption, and it's not done yet because essentially he's playing the full Orcus package also along the World Legacy cards, which is very interesting because I really feel like that only one card, in this case the Gearsu itself, can really put you through this. And this is something that we don't really see often because the World one gets sent to the graveyard and then banished. And this is like one of the older combos, let's say, of the Orco strategy, which we haven't seen in a while. And I really like it because essentially gives you also another layer of interruption. And yeah, I mean, look at this, also with the IP being onto the field and the Crescendo being set.
Yeah.
This is scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a bit unfortunate, the open Crescendo, because he's free. Like, you could have set it with the Galatea easily, and he's not really playing other targets for it. But, I mean, this is still pretty strong. I think also something that benefiting Benjamin is Artifact Lancea not really being there anymore. You know, Malice got significantly worse, and if that was the most popular side deck card, now not so much, and it stops Orcus as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this field looks very scary, especially considering the fact that you are able to protect your monsters from the destruction thanks to the Dingirsu, but also thanks to the effect of the IP Masquerena, because the monster which will be summoned will not be allowed to be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So we know that the Gemini strategy wants to destroy the monster. We know that there's going to be some Lightning Storm, maybe some Raigeki, some cards like that. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to just destroy the whole field. But I want to see if he can do it, because it's going to be such a statement if he manages to do that.
And you just mentioned it as he picks up that Lightning Storm as the 6th card, so
and
kinda called it.
The one-off.
Oh, really? Wow.
Really?
I mean, if he manages to bait out this Crescendo and then goes for it, it could be quite devastating. But the Dingirsu, let's not forget, has the protection effect as well. And that Babel right now is the most threatening part of this, because it makes every single Orcust a quick effect, and that's huge. And that's probably what Benjamin is explaining. You know, you don't play against this deck every day. But
I mean, I feel like that Hedi's deck is very strong against most of the current meta deck, and against this specific matchup, it's not easy, because. Also looking at this deck, I really feel like he was prepared to play against Yami, of course against Dracotail, and here decides to go for the Lightning Storm right away. Okay.
Yeah, here goes the Lightning Storm, and we are just going to detach from the Dingirsu indeed. We talked about this interaction earlier, and yeah, I mean, there goes the Lightning Storm.
yeah, maybe again a bit of a lack of experience in this matchup, but what can you really do?
So yeah, he's gonna ask a little bit more information about this card, and he's going to activate the Shadow Fusion. Such a good card going second. We talked about the Gemini strategy, telling you that it had a lot of power going second, and Shadow Fusion is one of those cards, because he's basically going to be able to fuse from deck, which is very strong, get some resources in the graveyard, and be able to activate a lot more effect. And yeah, that's the power of the Shadow strategy, because when you pair it up with the Gem Knight, that's a lot more fusions, and it allows you to just play this Shadow Fusion.
Yeah, love to see it in 2025 again. Really useful. We saw some Dracotail players using it, and that might be what Benjamin right now is thinking, but he's in for a big surprise once he sees some of these Gem Knights come out. And yeah, just looking at the deck, you can see while he's scrolling through it, you see Raigeki, Feather Duster, you know, a lot of field-breaking cards, just like Tempai, again, as mentioned, last year, winning the European WCQ.
And that is very scary, as Alberto just said, for most of the decks of the format. But surprisingly, yeah, Orcust can survive that pretty easily, to be honest, thanks to the Dingirsu, thanks to the Crescendo as well.
And yeah, here comes our lovely construct. Been a minute.
And there we see how much power the Shadow Fusion gives to your deck, because not only you have this powerful monster on the field, but you also have the effects in the graveyard that you are able to activate. So yes, such a strong card, because he only activated 2 cards in hand, and still he's putting a lot of pressure on the field.
And it's good because you get to send the Initiative Genius by targeting one monster onto the field and essentially negating it. And then also now the Gem Knight deck is revealed to his opponent. So it's like now Benjamin must be thinking, okay, this is a Gem Knight deck, maybe mixed up with some Shadow cards, another deck. But I think the good thing is now the Hedi at least have some sort of space, because thanks to the Neburim being sent to the graveyard, is also able to send one. Oh, okay, but
Yeah,
we are going to the Mask Arena.
IP. The thing is, right now we are chain blocking the Reaper, and as a response, Benjamin will just use the IP. We send a card from Construct, because again, to chain block it was chain link free. But even though we are chain blocking the Reaper, now the Izuna is live, and look at that Shadow Dragon. Wow, in the main deck. Makes sense, you're going second. And that's big because you can force out the Crescendo.
Yeah, the Neburim that was sent with Shadow Fusion essentially is able, by discarding a card, to be back onto the field. So you special summon it.
And look at this, such a good play. Benjamin decides to get rid of the Dingirsu, but again, Hedi chain blocking that Reaper in order to get rid of the Babel. Benjamin did not see this coming, and he might be punished for his decision to get rid of the protection once more.
Yeah, pretty good sequencing here, and we also have the effect of the Neburim to just add a Gem Knight card, and that's where it becomes scary, because all the Gem Knight cards going second, they have this additional effect that you can fuse from the deck. For example, we of course know the Brilliant Fusion, which is such a good card, and yeah, I mean, all of a sudden you had a lot of interruptions, but little by little you take the field out, pieces by pieces, and it looks pretty good for now.
Yeah, and it seems like here we're gonna use this SP, but basically you're forced to use your Orcus effects, because then they are all gonna be shut down once this Babel is gone. Yeah, so we're gonna go SP onto the Fusion, and then, as mentioned, we are gonna use some of these effects there with the Skeleton onto the Dingirsu. Yeah, followed up by the Galatea Eye.
So yeah, everything is gonna get used, and remember, we still have the Izuna in hand for Benjamin.
Yeah, that's big. Even though, yeah, it's gonna be a question of what can you do with it. Face down, we still have a lot of interruptions, because surely the Babel will be gone, but we still have Crescendo plus yeah, the Force, so we can upgrade into the Werewolf possibly, this Reaper, and yeah, it's gonna be a close one. And yeah, now I think Benjamin is just explaining some of these effects again to Hedi, because we do see a powerful spell that is about to be activated, I believe.
You can see it coming.
And
still sinking.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's gonna activate it, but yeah, this is very important. When you go second, you have to think about every single interaction. You don't have some room for mistake, so that's why it takes a lot of time to just think if he needs to activate it right now.
There
but yeah,
it is Call by the Grave onto the Dingirsu. Are we going to respond? Is the question. We do have a couple options.
So yeah, Benjamin here sinking a lot. And to be honest, I mean, it looks pretty good for the moment for Hedi. He played it pretty well with a good sequencing, And we saw the power of those cards, of the Shadow Fusion, of course. The Lightning Storm didn't do a lot because it just traded into the Dingirsu. But still, we didn't see a lot of Gem Knight cards, so we'll see.
Yeah. And no, it seems like he will let this Call by the Grave go through because he's just chaining this Dingirsu to take control of the Gem Knight, but then the Dingirsu is shut off and the Bible will be destroyed at a result. Yeah, long chain indeed, and SPs should be banished.
Yeah, finally we resolve it properly. And yeah, we are going to get access to the Dispersion. Such a good spell, allowing you to fusion summon.
I mean, you can tell the Head is really trying this because it's just as you mentioned, calculating every single card very carefully. With 3 cards left in hand, it's gonna be difficult, but I mean, of course, especially to deal with this field because there's the remember the crescendo being set from Benjamin, and tough spot. Although Head is really trying hard, honestly.
I mean, going second is no joke, to be honest. It's very hard because a lot of decks right now, they put such a powerful field, and you just have to think about every single move so that you are able to just break it. And it's gonna be interesting to see if he can do it or not. But right now, the field still looks pretty impressive. It's gonna be a little bit less with the sales ban getting activated. So what do you call right now?
I mean, I love the card mainly against Yami. It's such a powerful option going second, but yeah, I mean, it does work against pretty much any deck of the format. But yeah, I agree with you that there are only a couple more cards in the end, and we know there are at least 2 interruptions that you can't interact with this sales ban. So how are we gonna do this?
So we are going to just use the extender, the Hollow Core, a key piece of the Gem Knight strategy, allowing you to search for another card and put it in the graveyard.
Wondering honestly, with 1 card in hand is gonna be very tough because now, yeah, that is the Reaper which is being activated, and then the last card, of course, is the Crescendo, which of course Hedi didn't know, but I mean, he could have wondered that he could have been there just because he was not with the Galatea, and yeah. I think it's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's gonna be the game 1 here for Benjamin. The Orcus strategy winning the first game, and this is a very good statement in my opinion because we had a very strong going first deck, the Orcus K9 strategy, and we had a very strong going second deck. And I was really looking forward to seeing if the Gem Knight strategy could just break the field. He had a pretty decent hand, to be honest. Not a lot of Gem Knight cards because, of course, you want to get access to the Brilliant Fusion, which is such a good fusion, and to get access to the Dispersion of the extra deck, such a good monster, allowing you to just special summon 3 fusion monsters, and all of a sudden, I mean, your opponent is overwhelmed, so this is a bit hard. But we saw that the Orcus strategy had a lot of tools to just resist the Gem Knight, especially because of the Dingirsu, because it can just protect yourself from the destruction, and we know that there are some Raigekis, some Lightning Storms, all those cards, and we also have the Crescendo, and having access to an negate like that is very strong against the power cards of the Gem Knight strategy.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, especially because the Orcus deck had the Babel face up, so as well, it's another layer of disruption, and I mean, I really have to say that Hedi really tried hard, and I think it was also good for him to see what the Orcus strategy can do. And I think for sure going into game 2, like we said it, he doesn't really mind going second, but the question is, because like looking also at his side deck, he may also opt sometimes to go first, but he's definitely prepared for going second. He has some very interesting cards, especially as mentioned against Yami's, Dracotail as well, which, I mean, we're not going to see the Winter Cherries for sure in this type of matchup, unfortunately. But he definitely has some other tools. The question is not playing many hand traps if you let your opponent go first, and once again, you see what happened in game one. Will you be able to go through it and just, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely rough. On the other hand, as again, similarly to this going second decks, we see a lot of Mulcharmis, both Purulia and Fuvalos. And this is one of those decks where both are actually pretty nice, possibly. You know, just think of how many K9 special summons were from end and then from extra. And so the Mulcharmis can be a way to overwhelm your opponent then with cards like Super Poly and the Fusions and, you know, the Field Breakers. So that could definitely be an option. But on the other hand, I've just been informed that we won't be seeing the backup because it was a very fast 2-0 victory, actually. And we had a very, very special deck, which I'm not going to talk about because it actually won against Johannes, which we all might know, qualifying and almost missing out on the top cut at World Championship with the Lunalight deck, but he has been defeated. So let's not see, I mean, maybe next round we can see this deck. Very, very unique. And yeah, so no backup for this round. That's sometimes just how it goes. But we do still have a game 2, and it's going to be again the question of who is going to go first. I think our duelists are about done with their siding. So let's just bam into action.
Yeah, the two duelists are ready, and as you mentioned, it's going to be very interesting to see if Hedi is going to choose to go second or to go first, because he has both options. Of course, usually you want to go second as Gem Knight, but you also have some very powerful tools in your side deck to go first. We have the Protoss and Escados strategy, and you might want to use that because you know that your opponent is only going to play one type and attribute apart from the K9 cards, but I think that you can do something against that. But looks like he decided to go second once again, which is the usual game plan. But we saw in game 1 it was very hard for the Gem Knight strategy to just go through the Orcus field. So we hope for him that it's gonna be better in this one.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of more charmies, I did spot a couple in the end. So we'll see whether this will be an interesting, you know, and different game from Hedi. But right now we start with this Jokul, no Purulia, but we might see soon enough Fuvalos. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one because look at the amount of interruptions in both players' end.
And I think one of them is gonna trade into the other.
And this is also a bit of a bold move from Hedi. Obviously, you know, it's kind of a mind game. Do you use the Fuvalos immediately? He should have, probably. But, you know, you risk kind of like having this Jokul. But we have a second Fuvalos right there for this Ash. And now the question is to Benjamin, how much do you want to commit?
I mean, in my opinion, you want to commit everything, because if you do a half field, then you're just going to get destroyed by the Gem Knight strategy. We saw how powerful the power cards are, so in my opinion, there is no choice. Like, you are forced to just go into your full combo.
I mean, I think this is the risk of playing against Gem Knight, because against most of the decks, you will not maybe... you maybe might be seeing another turn, right? But against Gem Knight, honestly, and if you're not super familiar with the deck, I don't think I will be risking it, to be honest.
And yeah, here we see this new card from the Dimensions, the K904 Noroi.
And we see the Protoss in hand going second. I mean, yeah, of course, if you manage to special summon the Protoss, you can literally call Dark, and it's gonna be a mess for the opponent.
Yeah. Mike must be happy, one of his favorite cards. But right now it's tough to summon, so it's gonna need a bit more help. And we do go for the first summon. I'm wondering, yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, isn't it maybe better to use another of the K9, leave the Noroi, and then use the Noroi, you know, the ordering, so that you already know the card that they have drawn from Fuva. Just in terms of sequencing. I think that maybe might have been a bit better from Benjamin. But, I mean, especially, you know, against a field breaker deck, you know, that one card could be really important information on what to play around.
But Hedi really needs something because his hand was not ideal because he had the
look at this.
Protoss, the sales ban.
Especially if you're passing on this, you now would have been able to know the last card in hand from Hedi, and this is shaky, as you said, Jean. Wow.
I mean, yeah, so...
It's a pass?
Yeah, because he knows everything in Hedi's hand, basically, so he knows that Hedi's hand is not the best.
Yeah.
So he just realized that maybe he can just pass on a minimalistic board.
And now, so many good draws for Hedi. Even just the Lightning Storm from the previous game would be so strong here. Let's see.
But that's a good start, to be honest. Yeah, the sales ban, and he's going to call the Reaper, so no Reaper for the rest of the turn.
Yep.
So that's one interruption gone.
Yeah, pretty much now we have only this face down quick spell in the 4th release to upgrade into the Werewolf. But is that really going to be enough is the question.
Well, the Nefri he already knew about is gonna search for Hedi one Gemini card from his deck, and I mean, with the salesman being activated, honestly, I can really see a good window for him just show us how powerful the Gemini deck is. It also depends for sure on all the other 2 remaining cards which we haven't seen in his hand.
I mean, passing on a half field was an interesting decision, to be honest, because, yeah, of course, you know that your opponent's hand is not the best, but you don't have a lot of interactions, so, you know, I'm a bit skeptical about this one, because we know how powerful the Gemini cards are, so, yeah, he might have a tough game. And the good thing about the Gemini strategy is that you can start things off with very little pieces, and all of a sudden, you pop off and
overwhelmed.
Yeah, 3 fusion monsters on the field.
Okay, and now the question becomes, when does Benjamin activate this 4th release? Because the more your opponent commits, the less that Werewolf end interaction becomes.
I mean, I would probably activate it on one of the continuous spell, to be honest. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
I mean, definitely it seems like Hedi has pretty much this game on his hand. He knows what he's up against, and he just has to find the line to play through it.
Benjamin reading a little bit more the dispersion, which is a very, very good card. And there we see the holo core again.
Yeah, let's see. It's obviously a lot of reading required from Benjamin. Not really a matchup he seems to be too familiar with. Can't blame him all that much. And sometimes that costs you, because
I mean, in my opinion, Gem Knight is one deck that is, under the radar, but still a very powerful deck. Because if you're not prepared, then you can face so many threats like that. It can surprise you, catch you off guard. The fact that going first, the deck still has some tools, because the first game, you are probably going to win the game because your opponent is not prepared to that, and you just end the game very fast. But going into the second game, your opponent is probably going to want you to go first, but still you have the Protoss, the Escados, so you are able to just lock the game. And even if you don't win the game 2, then there is the game 3 once again. The only problem of the deck, in my opinion, is the fact that there is dimensional barrier in the side decks, as we mentioned earlier, and the fact that if you cannot fusion summon, I mean, you cannot end the game with Gem Knight.
Yeah. And when we saw that Noroi being sent from Izuna, we could tell that the Lupis was in hand. Indeed, it was, and in this case, it represented a nice interruption going into this Valon. And yeah, we still have a couple more things going from Benjamin. And it seems like it's really going to be one of those games where it's going to come down to one final card to see, you know, whether it's enough to completely dominate or Benjamin is just going to take it. And I mean, they've only spent a couple turns, but actually it has already been around 30 minutes, which is impressive. It doesn't really feel like it.
I was thinking literally the same.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's been 10 minutes, and then what?
But yeah, of course, they take some time to just think about the interaction, and I mean, it's normal. It's normal because, as we just said before, going second, you cannot afford doing any mistake, because one mistake and the game is gone.
And I really feel like the Gem Knight has so many different options most of the time, and here we get to see the dispersion being resolved. And I mean, I would really like to see some fusion summon, honestly. Just the deck at full speed, and
Yeah.
here we also saw the Valon interaction, putting the monster face down. I don't know how much that honestly will...
No, really.
It doesn't do much, to be honest, because you can still fusion summon using the monsters which are face down. We saw that yesterday in another game with the Dracotail strategy this time, but yeah, it doesn't really do much. Attaching with, for example, the Nash Knight would have been way better because you lose the resource, while here you can still use it.
And finally, we get to see the first fusion of this duel.
After 30 minutes.
Yeah. And yeah, as you've mentioned, we might have put face down one, but here comes the second copy, and Benjamin probably already committed to this line of denying the card, the Nephirim, and we are probably gonna try, yeah.
So yeah, we are going to activate the quick play spell, but I seriously doubt the fact that it's going to be enough to just stop the Gemini strategy. Yes, you are going to be able to destroy a card,
yeah,
but
that works. Because we can chain the Lady Rose and just destroy the Reaper, no?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Benjamin has just realized it.
And he's in a bit of trouble right now.
Yeah. Because also, this is the game where we saw that Protoss is in end.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it is.
I mean, even as a backup plan, it's a pretty good backup plan. And I think we have... Yeah, that's it. I mean, it makes sense. 18 minutes remain, and you definitely do not want that double loss at this stage. And yeah, I mean, it might have not looked like the flashiest of opening, but he got him there. And again, we were saying during side decking, those mulch armies put in work. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they did a lot right here because you want to just have to face a half field, and this is literally what happened right there. You don't want your opponent to just go into full field, even if, yeah, you are going to draw a lot of cards, but still, you want to just have a minimalistic amount of interaction so that you can just get rid of it with Lightning Storms, with all your power cards, and then just proceed to win the game. But what's going to be very interesting is going to be the siding patterns during this game 3, because now Benjamin is going to be able to decide if he's going to go first or if he's going to go second. And yeah, I mean, this is a very tough decision because you don't want to go first against the Gemini strategy because you saw all those cards, you saw the mulch armies, you saw the field breaker, and you know that the engine itself is very, very good going second. But on the other hand, if you just let him go first, you have this Protoss, you have the Escatos, and you really don't want him to just Cold Dark and then just lose on the turn 3. So it's going to be very hard. And on the side of Hedi, I mean, what do you side off? What do you just put in your deck? Because you don't know if you're going to go first or second.
That's the point. And honestly, I mean, I'm not sure if Benjamin would let Hedi go first, to be fair.
No, I can't see it.
I don't really see it coming, to be fair.
No, I also don't. Especially when there are 16 minutes remaining and he didn't seem so experienced with the deck.
Yeah,
it's rough to imagine it. On the other hand, I'm kind of worried because if we think back at how much time we spent, this could be close because, I mean, we haven't really seen any interruption outside of mulch armies, and I believe that will stay the same. And that means, you know, we could see a long combo from Benjamin, but then if we have you know, those field break-ins, there is a risk that this could end up in a double loss. Well spotted definitely by Benjamin, picking up his cards immediately, because otherwise this would have been a lot closer. But yeah, it seems like he's done with his side deck, and that means only one of these two duelists can possibly move on with that X2 record that's needed to make it to the top 8. Who is it going to be? Let's find out. And let's move to action. Any? There you are, important moment. Do we see those Mulcharmies? And I do believe Benjamin is going first. I don't see any.
It makes a lot of sense, and we are going to see literally what happened in the game 1, in my opinion, because I didn't see any interaction in Hedi's hand, only some field breakers, so we are going to witness exactly the same thing. Is he going to be able to break the field this time or not? That is the question.
And we might see a speedrun combo here. We have always started with K9s. This time around, we start things off with these Orcus cards. As mentioned, the Galatea Eye is so important, turning this Arp Horror into a one-card combo. And yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But if we do not have the K9s, it also changes how threatening this field will be.
And I think he didn't, because I think he also outdrew one of the World Legacy cards. And which is, you know, a bit rough, especially because I think he's missing one of the K9 pieces.
Yeah, might be, because while the K9 can bridge into the Orcus cards, the other way around, not really. And now we see one of the most important cards, the card that actually won the NAWCQ due to a big misstep, let's say, is this World Crown. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting piece of interruption that Hedi must, you know, find a way to maneuver through. But I mean, I think it's going to be pretty clear that there won't be any interruptions coming Benjamin's way at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you just said, we see a speedrun, literally, of the combo. We know that Benjamin is very experienced with the deck, so he knows what he's doing, and he's going to be able to end up on a pretty convincing field, to be honest.
So here, do we see Crescendo? Yes, we do. Makes a lot of sense. It's so important against a deck like Hedi. And again, though, I don't see any K9s, and this makes the field really different. Is that gonna be enough, is the question. I mean, you can still go, you know, for the similar approach of just Ellen Girsu, so trying to steal a monster in the opponent's turn, and then the Girsu to protect from Lightning Storm. Yeah, not so much, and I can't tell what the spell card is, but yeah, we definitely don't have K9s at the moment. And yeah, here comes Dingirsu. It was very important in game 1, but now Hedi knows about it. I'm pretty sure he won't just throw, you know, Lightning Storm. But okay. What is it? Is it a Forbidden Droplet? No. Oh.
It's gonna get set. Oh, it's gonna be the surprise.
Wow, that's it. That is definitely a bit underwhelming, no?
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, it's without the K9, honestly, this is a bit rough.
Wow, and I mean, Hedi must be really happy about this.
Yeah, and looking at his hand, he has full fuel, he has full gas, a lot of engines, so, I mean, it's going to be hard to resist with only the Orcus strategy. You still have, of course, the Dingirsu, you have the Crescendo, which are very good cards, but I doubt the fact that it's going to be enough. We start things off. Oh, And that's
wow.
a very, very good card we see here.
He's taking a rest.
I mean, it was such a good card in the previous format, of course, against the Mitsurugi strategy. And here, Gem Knight, I mean, it's going to be very hard because you want to add a lot of cards from your deck to your hand. Still, you can send some cards to the graveyard to get their effect, but I seriously doubt the fact that it's going to be enough. That's a tough spot here for Hedi.
There's a Shadow Fusion though. Is it going to be resolved? And
there is the Ash Blossom.
That's big. That's huge. I mean, we thought this was a bit underwhelming. No Babel, no, you know, big links IP, but that Mistaken Arrest is so good. And we know Crescendo is face down, pretty much representing one of the only, you know, disruptions left, because the crown can be played around. And yeah, I think we are gonna use triple tactics talent next from Hedi, but
so you can either take control or watch the hand. Of course, I think it's gonna be a take control right here.
Makes a lot of sense. Either you draw if you're, you know, feeling that, but let's see. Is he gonna be taking control? And I think if it is, we have to use the Crescendo. Yeah. And that is it. Crescendo is activated. That is the last line of defense, pretty much. Do we have a way to push forward? We kinda do. And I mean, this War Crown pretty much, again, says that when a monster is activating the effect that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can negate it and destroy it. So it's important for Hedi to keep that in mind, because it's it's the last thing he can do. And Brilliant Fusion is now there.
Yeah, because now, thanks to the Course effect, essentially you can set Brilliant Fusion directly from the deck onto the field, and it gets activated and resolves.
Yeah, this is actually gonna be very, very close. And,
feels great when you get to resolve this card.
Yeah, I mean, when you overwhelm your opponent, that one Ash Blossom, you know, one thing is branded, playing maybe only branded fusion, but when you have so many spell cards that fuse from deck, what can you really do? And it seems like it will be the Nephrim, and next he is debating a bit.
And that is what's so strong about Gem Knight, because yeah, as you just said, in Branded you have one Branded Fusion. Here we literally have 3 ways to activate Branded Fusion, and that is so overwhelming because the opponent only has one opportunity to activate Ash. So
yeah, and with the Shadow Fusion, honestly, you were forced on to do the Ash Blossom on it.
Yeah.
No wonder.
I mean, we saw Shadow Dragon, so that would have been just an easy pop on the Crescendo, and look at this.
And finally, we get to see it in action.
We get to see the dispersion on the field, and what a strong monster. For those who don't know the effect of the monster, he will be able to just activate its effect and special summon 3 monsters from the extra deck, which is one of the key pieces of the Gem Knight strategy, because from that point you are then able to take control of the game and try to end it.
Yeah, this is absolutely big from Hedi. 11 minutes and a half remain. That's pretty much the only concern he should have at this point. Only one card in hand from Benjamin.
And yeah, we can feel the tension even here, because remember, one of those players will not be able to access the top 8 at the end of this game.
Yeah.
And it will all revolve around some small interactions. Benjamin doesn't have a lot right now, but it's all in Hedi's hand. And we finally see the link to, we are not going to be able to get the card from the deck, of course, but still,
yeah,
very important piece.
Important indeed, and you can see Hedi debating on what to do, but we do have the crown. We should keep in mind one more interruption right there on the field from Benjamin. And yeah, I mean, you kind of want to read these cards, but there are 10 minutes remaining.
I mean, yeah, you want to read this one. If you want to read one, you want to read this one.
I mean, for sure, there are a lot of different Gemini cards in the deck and in the extra deck as well, but look at this.
Look at that. All of a sudden, you special summon 3 monsters from the extra deck, and it doesn't feel great when you are the opponent. It looks a bit scary.
Yeah, I mean, not many effects are like this in Yu-Gi-Oh!
And now we are going to be able to just keep going. Hedi is still debating on what to do. And we can see the time on the clock. 9 minutes left.
Yeah,
we know
ticking.
that time's ticking, and we don't want this double loss, of course. But I think that the things will be done after this turn.
And look at this now, the Lady Brilliant Diamond coming onto the field. And I think the more Hedi keeps playing this out, it's gonna be getting out of control, because here also has the Prismara effect. If really feels like can discard a card to destroy one of Benjamin's monster onto the field.
Yeah, we still have the Dingirsu protection. It's gonna be close, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, can he close this out in time? And yeah.
We're going to get rid of the Dingirsu here.
This is big.
Yeah. This is probably one of the most important monsters on the field of Benjamin, to be honest.
For sure. And now, oh, do we use the crown? Because we could possibly. I think there has been a bit of a debate on what's going on now with this quartz. Oh, no, actually we are gonna rewind back.
So yeah, it looks like there was a bit of a mistake somewhere.
Yeah.
But no worries, because the judges are on the case. And yeah, we're going to get back to a previous game state.
Because the Brilliant Diamond says it requires 3 Gem Knight monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Armadillo is
Only a gem. Yeah.
So yeah, a small war, but still very important.
Yes. I mean, I think still Hedi is gonna try his way now, although the Armadillo cannot be used to summon their Brilliant Diamond, but it's done differently this time around, and I'm only concerned about time, to be fair, because if he doesn't really seal this one out in this turn, honestly, with 6 minutes remaining on the round, it's gonna be very, very difficult. I mean, we can surely tell that Benjamin now is a witness in this turn, especially because there's not much left that he can do, and it's just everything on to ID.
So yeah, we are going to do literally the same thing, get rid of the Dingirsu, which is one of the biggest threats, because yeah, you want to destroy all of the monsters on your opponent's field, and Dingirsu just prevents that. But little by little, we are taking advantage, and looks like Hedi is, of course, in the driving seat. He has the tools, and now he just needs to find the way to win the game. 5 minutes 30 on the clock, and I think it might be enough to just take the game.
And here I think Benjamin is having a read that the Master Diamond which was summoned. Wow, I mean, look at this field from Hedi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling a bit of tension just because of those 5 minutes left, but yeah, it definitely looks like we might have another comeback to start things off in day 2. Yeah, you can see now Hedi can proceed.
Still asking a little bit of effects, and that shows us that it's very important to bring something that can surprise your opponent. And once again, we've seen that before, and we still see that in that game. The fact that your opponent doesn't know all the cards and therefore doesn't know how to interact perfectly with your deck is very, very good, and it worked pretty well for Hedi, considering the fact that he's now at 7-2 for now, and might be at 8-2.
This might be it. This might be it, because the Master Diamond copied Gem Knight Topaz effect, and that is
It is going to be the victory for the Gem Knight strategy after this game 3. Hedi convincingly winning the game after a very good duel, to be honest, against the Orcus strategy. We saw an opposition of style between those two decks, with a very good going first deck and a going second deck that tries to just destroy everything, to just tear apart the field. But yeah, all of a sudden we see that the Gem Knight managed to get through the field and get the victory, so he's still in. He will be able to go probably for the top 8, but on the other hand, I mean, Benjamin, the Orcus player, he did a great game. Unfortunately, will not be able to do it this time, but it was very interesting to see the strategy.
Yeah, you can still play for prizes, of course, but indeed, what a match it was. Really showed us what the deck can do. And you gotta say, outside of game 2, where he opened that double Fuvalos, although only one resolved, he was just waiting and trying to break the field. Game 1, he couldn't quite do it, as Benjamin was able to get the best of both of his engines and set up so many interruptions. But on the other hand, in game 3, no K9 cards, and I think at the end that was all it took. The Orcus field, it was not even the most impressive on his own, because no Babel setup, no Link 4, and I mean, what can you really expect to be doing? You probably will lose against any deck of the format, I gotta say, with that opener. And I mean, still congratulations to both, and excited to see yet another deck competing. I mean, in the previous rules, 8-2 would be almost, you know, all you need to make to the top cut. Still, though, there are 5 more rounds remaining. But before we move on to the deck, you know, and the post-match analysis, we do have some exciting news. Let's see how this format looked in terms of deck breakdown for the event, and look at that. So much diversity. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised, to be honest, because we see that the Yomi and the Dracotail strategies are the most praised, to be honest. But the Mitsurugi strategy is the third one, and going into the tournament, I saw that it would be probably the most picked deck, or the second most picked deck behind Yomi. But yeah, 3 decks that we expected to be there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I really feel like, I mean, I agree with you. I was expecting Mitsurugi at least to come at second place. I really want to see the trend, especially what happened and changed for day 2, because I mean, this is for day 1, like quite stunning, to be fair. It's a lot of varieties, but look at this.
There it is, Dracotail taking the top, but to be fair, keeping a similar representation. Yami and Dracotail were both at the top, and they remained so, but we see Malice coming out, and especially other Mitsurugi variants really dominating, because if you sum all of them up, Mitsurugi decks would stand on top. And on the other hand, we have seen a lot of different decks. Even the Yami only includes the pure Yami deck, but as you can see already in day 2, we have those Yami, Mitsurugi decks, and we do have even more spies for you guys coming. But for now, let's focus on the match at end, and let's go to the post-match analysis.
Thanks, guys. In fact, I'm joined by the winner of the last round, Hedi, with Gem Knight Shadows. Hedi, what inspired you to play the deck?
Not that much. I'm just like, I didn't play a lot since the French national, so I had to keep up with everything, and I think I can't beat everyone with the big meta decks if I have not enough experience on them. So for me, they are better than me on these decks. This is why I choose to pick some other deck. Basically, I wanted to play Mermaid like I did in French National, but the problem is Herald right now. You can't even use any effect, so I think Yumi counters Mermaid too much. This is why I just picked Gem Knight. Too much good cards. Every card had 2 or 3 effects. 3 Bennett Fusion in archetype. 4 if you add Shadow Fusion. This is a good deck, a really good deck. The only problem is that now everyone know what I'm playing, so I think I'm gonna go first.
Well, what is the state in the game of going second board breaker decks? Like,
I think we are in the meta where every deck can play on end traps, like 1 or 2, maybe 3 sometimes. So I prefer playing 6 card and having board breakers. 6 card you can break. 6 card you got 1 more card than the opponent, and you got your charmies, which are really, really, really good cards. This is why I prefer go second, but the fact is the weak point of Gem Knight is going first, so I'm gonna try keep with losing dices.
That's a good idea, losing the dice then, or sending your opponent first if they know what you're playing. But let's actually jump into the first clip, because in game 1 you went second and your opponent put up a full field and eventually you weren't able to break it. So
yeah, because I misplayed a lot. I didn't knew the Orcus Rexes prevent from destruction, so I used my Lightning Storm. I had a guess that this was Crescendo, because if you do not add Crescendo, you have Crescendo.
yeah.
This is what I wanted to trigger Crescendo with the Lightning Storm, but I couldn't because it prevent from destruction. This is literally my bad. At the end, I had an empty board, so if I had the Lightning Storm left, I could have maybe done something. I don't say I'm winning this, but I just played bad, so I deserve the lose.
Why did you activate Salespan so late? Was there a different reason for that?
Why did I activate Sailbar for what?
So late?
Because with Gem Knight, you're not afraid of this kind of interaction. Take control, pop 1, banish 1. It's kind of fine. The only thing I wanted to avoid is the rip one from end. I don't want him to see my hand. I don't want 1 less card in hand.
Oh.
So I used it on Hound, and I used it late because I knew this was an Omni Negate. Maybe I should have used it early, but I prefer bait anything, having one last board breaker, sorry, and 1 last play. This is how I try to do things.
All right, I think we don't have too much time, so let's go over into the second clip, because that was all for game 1. You're playing triple Fuwalos. Is that a main deck choice or a side deck choice?
Triple Fuwalos, triple Machami Pyrulia, and I got 2 mules in the side decks.
Wow.
Everyone thinks Pyrulia is not a good card. It is a good card because at least it makes you draw 1 on every matchup. Maybe Dragtail can not use the normal summon, but I'm going second, so Charmies are just insane, and against K9 that's way more powerful.
Has it ever happened to you that you had like 1 Fuwalos or a Pyrulia and your opponent negated that, and then you had too few cards in hand to break the field?
Yeah. It happened twice yesterday, and it's hard to know what I play because if you win the dice, you go first, and you do not know I play board breakers. So some of them took the maxi challenge.
Oh.
And they made me draw a lot. So when I got more than 6 cards in hand, I'm pretty sure I'm winning this and breaking the board.
Okay, that's really cool, actually. Another thing, your opponent summoned a Valen here, and I think then used it to set the Neprim face down in that scenario. Do you think that the Valen would have hurt you more in a different scenario, like maybe on the Fusion?
I'm playing a Fusion deck, so face down cards are not a problem. That's why I gave him my card, because I thought he was doing Nesh, because Nesh is like the
bigger problem.
Yeah, bigger problem and a better issue for me. But he just faced down it, and I used Fusion Monster, so I don't really care a lot.
I think in the Orcus K9 strategy you might not have the space for all the Nash targets.
Yeah, that's the problem. Right. But Nash is better than Valen, I think.
And I mean, that's not a field. That's not a field for you, so you break this easily. So you won that game. Actually, let's go into the last game.
Yeah.
What was that field that your opponent put up there? Were you surprised that not too much came out of this?
To be honest, he took a warning for slow play, so he may have stressed a bit and failed the combo. So I don't know why he had so little board. Either this is because of the stress, or this is because he had
mistaken arrest.
A staple, and most of the time when you draw like dimensional barrier or Lancia or something like this, you're not focused. You think you're winning and you're not focused on what you're doing. And the third option is he wanted to play under Nib, so he added this one. No, it doesn't even negate Nib, so I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean that was
the board was easy to break, to be honest.
That's what it looked like. Mistaken arrest, does it hurt you at all?
Mistaken arrest is a problem, but it's not enough. Like I got three branded fusion in the archetype, 4 with shadowed fusion, so I can play without adding cards to my hand, and I can set directly from the deck my branded fusion. So I think it's not a really good card. It can be good when you got more interruption with that.
Yeah, and a full field, yeah.
Yeah, and a full field. But he had only 3, not the Babel Tower, I think.
Okay, now
so it was pretty easy to break, but he played good. Like his interaction was well done. I just add what I needed.
You had too much, and in the last clip we can even see that you had the Shadow Heart drawn, right? The Shadow Genie.
Yeah. I used the Shadow Genie. That's why I knew
good.
This was not a problem, because I had the Genius, and this card is so good. The Shadow Engine is so good. It's like some breaks in end, but when you can send them from the end or deck to the grave, it's like way too powerful.
So when you saw that you had all the interruptions baited out, you have negated the crown, did you know you were going to win?
I knew I was going to win from the point he used Crescendo. And he had to use Crescendo because he wasn't live if I took control of his link.
All right, fair enough. Hedi, thank you so much for your time. I just want to mention, I love your hat. It looks really, really cool on you.
Thank you.
Good luck in the next round. And we're going back to a small break and we'll be live back for the next round quite soon.
Shout out to